There is a moment in every person's life when they sense, even faintly, that money isn't responding to effort alone. Something deeper, something invisible, seems to shape the flow of wealth, almost as if reality bends itself around the words we speak. I want to start by telling you something that may startle you. Your financial life is not controlled by markets, luck, or intelligence as much as it is governed by the language you repeat every day. In Jewish wisdom, speech is not expression, it is creation. Every sentence you speak becomes a command you issue to the structure of reality. Some commands open doors, some close them without you ever knowing. Before we go deeper, I want you to do something small but important. In the comments, write the sentence you most often say about money. Maybe it's, "I'm broke." Maybe it's, "I'm trying." Maybe, "I'll survive." Maybe, "I'm okay."
Whatever it is, write it. And let me tell you why this matters. The moment you write a phrase down, you freeze it long enough to see the belief behind it. You make the unconscious conscious. And once it becomes visible, you gain power over it. This is the first step toward rewriting your destiny. Because destiny, in our tradition, does not descend from the sky fully formed. Destiny is shaped, molded by words. In Hebrew, the word davar means both word and thing. Our ancestors believed that speech becomes matter. And this wasn't metaphor, it was law. When God spoke creation into existence, the pattern became permanent. Speech precedes form. Speech generates reality. This means that when you speak about your financial life, you are not describing your situation, you are designing it. But here is where things become more intense.
Most people speak about money as if their words carry no weight at all. They use phrases that sound harmless, polite, or even humble, not realizing they are constructing invisible walls around their own prosperity. The universe listens with precision. It responds not to your intentions, not to your desires, not to your emotions, but to your declarations. And your declarations reveal what you truly believe you deserve. I've seen people sabotage themselves with a single phrase repeated over and over, unaware that they are commanding limitation. And I've seen others attract breakthroughs because they aligned their speech with expansion. Jewish wisdom teaches that the mouth is a gate, and whatever passes through it becomes the architecture of your future. As we move forward, I'm going to show you 3 hidden verbal errors, so subtle, so common, so woven into our culture that they quietly suffocate wealth before it ever reaches you. These errors do not just block opportunity, they repel it. They do not just limit possibility, they compress destiny. And almost everyone commits them without a second thought. But once you recognize them, everything changes. Once you understand the spiritual mechanism behind these phrases, your relationship with money begins to shift, almost as if reality itself starts rearranging around your new voice. And the first of these errors, the one almost every person relies on daily, has done more damage to prosperity than any financial crisis ever could. To understand why your words carry such force, you need to step inside the spiritual blueprint that Jewish wisdom has guarded for thousands of years. It is a blueprint older than any written law, older than any economic system, older even than the idea of wealth itself. It teaches that the world is not built from matter first, but from vibration, specifically from the vibration of spoken intention. The universe, in this view, is not a passive landscape you walk through. It is a living field that reacts to the frequency of your voice. In Hebrew, the word davar means 2 things at once, word and thing. That dual meaning is not poetic, it's architectural. It means a word is not separate from reality. A word becomes reality. The moment something is spoken, it begins its transformation from the unseen to the seen. This is why the book of Genesis repeats the same pattern. And God said, and there was. The saying and the becoming are inseparable. This is the cosmic pattern humans mirror every time they speak. Kabbalistic teachings deepen this idea. They describe speech as a spiritual technology, an instrument capable of influencing the unseen layers of existence. Every sentence is a vibration that shapes the flow of energy around you. When you speak with clarity, you open channels. When you speak with doubt, you constrict them. When you speak carelessly, you scatter the blessing meant for you. Even people who do not consider themselves spiritual can feel this truth intuitively. Words change posture. Words change confidence. Words change decisions. And decisions, repeated over time, change destiny. This is why money cannot be separated from speech. Money is not just currency, it is condensed energy responding to alignment. When you say, "I'm fine," "it's enough," or "I'm managing," you are not describing your circumstances. You are instructing the universe to freeze them. You are placing a ceiling above your own expansion and labeling it contentment. Most people mistake this for humility, but humility is not self-suffocation. It is awareness. False contentment, however, is stagnation disguised as virtue. My ancestors taught that when a person speaks, they reveal their inner world. And the universe responds not to who you pretend to be, but to who your words say you are. If you speak as though you have reached your limit, the universe honors that declaration. If you speak as though you are growing, expanding, and seeking, the universe shifts to accommodate that movement. This is why understanding the spiritual blueprint is essential, because it exposes how much of your destiny is shaped not by circumstance, but by alignment. And alignment always begins with language. But now that you understand this cosmic architecture, there is something even more important to reveal: the subtle ways people violate this blueprint every single day. Not through malice, not through laziness, but through 3 deceptively innocent phrases that quietly suffocate prosperity. And the first of these hidden errors, the one spoken by the strongest, the kindest, the most well-intentioned people, is far more damaging than anyone realizes. The first hidden error is so common, so gentle, so polite, that people speak it without a second thought. It slips out at the grocery store, at work, during conversations with friends, even in moments of deep struggle. The phrase is this: "I'm fine." 2 small words, soft, harmless. But spiritually, these words are a declaration of stagnation, a subtle command that tells the universe, "Pause everything. I need nothing more." It is one of the most destructive sentences a person can speak about their financial life. When someone says, "I'm fine," they are usually trying to appear strong, grateful, or humble. But Jewish wisdom teaches that the universe listens not to intention, but to articulation. The universe does not decode your emotions or interpret your tone. It follows your words. And "I'm fine" does not mean "I'm grateful." It means "I'm full." A full vessel cannot receive more. This is why our sages warned, be careful with words of completeness, for they close the gates of increase. Let me show you how this plays out in real life. Years ago, I knew a man who carried great potential: sharp mind, soft heart, relentless work ethic. Yet, whenever someone asked him how he was doing, he replied, "I'm fine, thank God." He believed it was the respectful, humble thing to say. But beneath the surface, his business was collapsing. He was drowning in uncertainty. Opportunities slipped through his fingers, and still he clung to "I'm fine." Within 3 days, his financial life unraveled completely. A contract fell apart, a partner backed out, a debt came due unexpectedly. He believed he was cursed, but the truth was simpler and far more painful. He had been declaring for months that he needed nothing more. And the universe respected that declaration. It stopped sending help. This is the danger of false contentment. When you say, "I'm fine," you are not avoiding complaints. You are cutting off expansion. You are telling creation to stop moving toward you. In Hebrew thought, the ma'atot is compared to a gate. What you say determines what enters your life. A closed gate does not block negativity alone. It blocks blessing. From a psychological standpoint, the damage is just as real. When you tell yourself, I'm fine, your brain stops scanning for solutions. It stops noticing opportunities. It stops generating ideas. It slips into maintenance mode. You become blind to the next step simply because you declared that no next step was needed. Many people wonder why their financial breakthroughs stall at the exact moment they feel they're surviving. This phrase, this tiny familiar phrase, is often the reason. It freezes progress. It suspends momentum. It quietly tells your destiny to wait outside. And this error, as damaging as it is only the first. There is another mistake, far more seductive, far more deceptive, that fools even the most ambitious people. It doesn't close the gate like the first one. It weakens the vessel itself. And once that happens, even the blessings already coming your way begin to spill out before you can receive them. There is an ancient teaching in the Talmud that explains with unsettling clarity why the phrase, I'm fine, is so spiritually dangerous. It says, the one who declares fullness cuts himself off from increase. At first, it may sound symbolic, even poetic, but in truth, it is one of the most precise laws ever recorded about human prosperity. To grasp its power, you must understand how the universe responds to perceived fullness, and how your words create that perception long before you realize it. Imagine a vessel filled to the brim with water. Even one extra drop would cause it to overflow. There is no space left to receive. Spiritually, the same principle applies to your life. When you say, I'm fine, you announce a state of completion. And according to ancient wisdom, completion halts movement. Growth is only possible where there is space, and space is created through honest desire, through acknowledging that something in your life still longs to expand. Our sages taught that God pours abundance into willing vessels, not closed ones. A closed vessel is not punished, it is simply unable to hold more. When you declare fullness through your words, even unintentionally, the divine flow redirects itself. It is not rejection, it is response. The universe respects your declaration more than your hidden longing. Now, modern psychology mirrors this ancient truth. The brain operates on efficiency. It listens to your verbal cues to determine whether to keep searching for opportunities or whether to conserve energy. When you say, I'm fine, the brain interprets it as a signal that no new pathways are required. It shuts down creative problem solving. It stops scanning the environment for potential improvement. It shifts from growth mode into maintenance mode. In other words, your brain stops trying. And when the mind stops trying, life stops moving. Let me paint a picture that may resonate with you. Imagine standing at the threshold of a door covered by a heavy curtain. Behind that curtain lie the opportunities, solutions, breakthroughs, and miracles you've been praying for. Every time you express genuine desire, every time you say, I want better, or I'm growing, or I'm ready, the curtain lifts just a little. But each time you say, I'm fine, the curtain drops back down. The room full of blessings doesn't disappear. It simply becomes inaccessible. This is why honesty is a spiritual virtue. Not dramatic confession, not hopeless complaint, but honest acknowledgement. I want more than where I am. This creates space. This opens the vessel. This signals both your mind and the universe to move. Now I want you to reflect. In which parts of your life do you pretend everything is okay? In your finances, your confidence, your direction, your sense of worth? Wherever you whisper, I'm fine, while your heart quietly aches for more, that is exactly where growth has stopped. And the moment you admit it, even softly, movement begins again. Yet we have only uncovered the first layer. There is another verbal mistake, one far more subtle, that doesn't declare fullness but creates something even more dangerous. The illusion that the journey is already complete, causing your inner momentum to collapse long before your destiny arrives. The second hidden error creeps in at the very moment when life begins to shift in your favor. It appears not in times of struggle, but in the first flickers of progress, just enough change to make you believe the hardest part is over. This error is the quiet, deadly act of lowering your guard. It is the moment you whisper to yourself, "I've made it." Not because you have truly arrived, but because the first signs of movement feel like arrival. And nothing halts miracles faster. I've seen this pattern repeat across generations. Someone fights for years, studying, working late, praying, sacrificing, pushing through fear and fatigue. Then they receive their first promotion, their first successful month, their first unexpected opportunity. And instead of increasing their discipline, their vision, their focus, they exhale too deeply. They relax too soon. They assume the universe will now do the rest. They declare victory before the seed has broken fully through the soil. My grandfather had a phrase for this kind of mistake. He would say, "A sleeping crocodile becomes a handbag." People would laugh, yet the truth beneath it was sharp as a blade. The moment you stop moving, you become prey to stagnation. Momentum is a sacred force, and when you interrupt it prematurely, your destiny begins to slide backward, almost silently. Psychology explains this with startling accuracy. When the brain believes a goal is already secured, it reduces motivation. It shuts off the systems responsible for alertness, creativity, and perseverance. It stops searching for the next step because it assumes the journey is over. But spiritually, journeys never end. The universe honors movement, not arrival. Stopping is not neutral. Stopping is regression. I once mentored a young man who had pulled himself out of years of financial instability. He studied obsessively, networked relentlessly, and saved every cent he could. Eventually, he landed a job that doubled his income. And with that success, he lost the fire that had carried him. He stopped learning. He stopped stretching. He stopped believing he needed to grow. A year later, the company faced a downturn and laid off half its staff, including him. He wasn't destroyed by the layoff. He was destroyed by the fact that he had not continued evolving. He had allowed comfort to dull his edge. The world does not reward comfort. It rewards consistency. Jewish wisdom teaches that life is an ongoing ascent, never a plateau. The soul is built to climb. The moment you stop climbing, you are not suspended. You begin drifting downward. This is why the second verbal era is so dangerous. It is not loud. It does not feel negative. It feels safe. It feels earned. But safety is not the same as alignment, and earned is not the same as complete. Now that you understand this, we can go deeper into the most devastating mistake of all, one so quiet, so deceptively reasonable that it shrinks a person's destiny without them ever noticing the walls closing in. The third hidden error is the most dangerous because it does not sound like a mistake at all. It's not spoken in weakness or complacency. It's spoken in an attempt to stay positive, balanced, or emotionally stable. This error is the quiet lie of saying everything is okay, not as a momentary reassurance, but as a worldview, as a default response, as a shield against discomfort. And though the lie feels gentle, its impact is devastating. It shrinks your destiny from the inside out. To understand why, you must first understand a core truth of Jewish wisdom. Creation is never finished.
The universe is in a constant state of becoming, stretching, unfolding. The soul, too, is designed for ascent, endless ascent. So when a person tells themselves that everything is okay, they are not expressing gratitude. They are declaring a false equilibrium. They are telling their inner world to stop expanding. They are instructing their spirit to dim its hunger. They are signaling to both heaven and earth that no further growth is needed. This is spiritual sedation. I once read an Israeli study that revealed something astonishing. People who regularly used passive, neutral language about their financial situation, phrases like, "I'm okay," "I'm getting by," or "it's fine," experienced an average 12% reduction in long-term income growth compared to those who expressed desire, intention, and forward motion. These phrases didn't just reflect their reality, they shaped it.
The language of stagnation produced more stagnation. But the deeper danger is psychological. The moment you convince yourself that everything is okay, your mind shuts down the mechanisms responsible for transformation. The hunger that once drove you fades. Curiosity weakens. Vision narrows. You stop scanning for new paths. You stop challenging your own limits. You stop listening for the quiet whispers of opportunity that only reveal themselves to those who still want more. The lie becomes a lullaby, and while you sleep, life moves on without you. I once worked with a woman who repeated the phrase, "everything's okay," so often that it became her identity. But everything was not okay. She felt underappreciated, underpaid, exhausted, and spiritually disconnected. Yet the lie felt safer than admitting her true longing.
When I asked her why she kept repeating it, she said, "Because if I admit things are not okay, I'm afraid I'll fall apart." But here is the truth. People do not fall apart when they face reality. They fall apart when they deny it. The moment she finally said, "No, things are not okay and I want more," something shifted. Her voice cracked open. Her fate cracked open. Within weeks, opportunities appeared because she had opened the space for them. This is the essence of the third error, pretending you are fulfilled when your soul is begging for expansion. It is the lie that quiets your destiny. But take heart, because just as words can shrink your reality, they can also expand it. Just as language can close gates, it can also open them with astonishing force. And there is a formula, 3 simple words that not only breaks all 3 errors at once, but also rewrites the energetic blueprint of your entire life. There comes a moment after confronting the 3 hidden errors when you realize something profound. If words can limit you, they can also liberate you. If they can shrink your destiny, they can also stretch it wide open. And that is when the question emerges. What words should I be speaking to align myself with abundance, growth, and divine flow? The answer is astonishingly simple. A formula so brief, so elegant, so spiritually precise that it resets your entire energetic field in a single breath. The 3-word formula is, "Thank God I'm growing." These words contain the remedy to every one of the verbal mistakes we've explored. They dissolve stagnation. They dispel false completion. They break the lie of okay. They reawaken the part of your soul that is designed for continuous expansion. But to truly wield this formula, you must understand the power embedded within each piece. Thank God. This is not about religious doctrine. It is about orientation. Gratitude is the key that unlocks receptivity. When you begin with thanks, you are acknowledging the blessings already in your life, whether visible or unseen. Gratitude sharpens perception. It lifts your emotional frequency. It signals to the universe that you are open, aligned, and ready to receive more. A grateful heart is a magnet for abundance, because gratitude transforms scarcity into possibility. This grounding phrase roots you in the present moment. Prosperity cannot reach someone who is mentally trapped in the past or anxiously reaching into the future. Is an anchor. It gathers your attention, your intention, and your energy into the now, the only place where creation can occur. When you say you are stepping into your role as an active participant in your destiny, not a passive observer. Growing. This is the engine of transformation. Growth is movement, expansion, upward motion. It is the antidote to stagnation. When you declare, "I'm growing," you refuse to pretend you are fully satisfied. You refuse the illusion of completion. You invite life to stretch you. You align yourself with the fundamental principle of creation, ascent.
The universe responds to growth declarations like seeds respond to rain. They open, they stretch, they rise. When spoken together, these three words create a powerful internal shift. They rewire your expectations, they recalibrate your emotional state. They direct your subconscious mind to search for opportunities, ideas, and breakthroughs that match the frequency of growth. They reopen channels that the three errors had quietly closed. But a phrase gains power through repetition. That is why I want you to ritualize it. Set a daily alarm, morning, midday, or evening. When it rings, pause, breathe, and speak the formula aloud. Thank God I'm growing. Say it even if you doubt it. Say it especially when you doubt it. Words shape belief more reliably than belief shapes words. As you begin to use the formula, you will notice subtle shifts first. A clearer mind, a more open heart, a sharper intuition. And soon after, something else happens. Your external life begins to echo the internal change. Doors open, paths appear, alignments form, and you start to see proof. Proof that this formula is not theory, it is transformation. And one story in particular reveals just how powerful it can be. I want to share with you a story that has lived in my heart for years because it captures with breathtaking clarity the power of changing a single phrase. It's the story of a woman I'll call Miriam, someone who spent most of her life believing that destiny was something that happened to her, not something she could author. When I first met her, she was suspended in a quiet kind of suffering. Not chaos, not disaster, just a slow, steady erosion of hope. She wasn't drowning, but she wasn't living either. Her favorite sentence was, "I'm getting by." She whispered it like a mantra. That phrase shaped her reality. She lived in survival mode, always one step away from crisis. Opportunities floated around her like distant lights, but she never reached for them. Her world had become small because her words were small. When I introduced her to the idea that speech could alter destiny, she smiled politely, the way someone does when they want to believe but can't imagine anything so extraordinary being true. Still, something inside her stirred, enough to try, at least once, the formula. Thank God I'm growing. The first time she said it, she cried. Not from sadness, but from the shock of hearing herself speak a future she had never dared to imagine. She told me later that the phrase felt like a doorway opening inside her chest. In the first week, nothing dramatic happened, but she felt lighter, less numb, more awake. She began noticing things she had ignored, the job posting on the bulletin board at her local community center, the way her coworkers spoke about her with respect she had never perceived, the tiny spark of ambition she thought had died years earlier. Within 1 month, she applied for that job and got it. It paid more, demanded more, and expanded her sense of self. 3 months later, she enrolled in a certification program she had dismissed before as not for people like me. 6 months after that, she found herself mentoring new employees, something she once believed she was unqualified to do. The shift in her life wasn't magic, it was alignment. When she replaced "I'm getting by" with "Thank God I'm growing," her inner world began moving again. And once the inner world moves, the outer world follows. Before the transformation, Miriam lived as if life were a hallway with locked doors. After the transformation, she realized the doors were never locked. They were simply waiting for her to knock with the right words. And her story is not rare. Every time a person chooses growth over stagnation, every time they speak truth over polite denial, every time they declare movement where they once declared survival, destiny bends. Not because destiny is fragile, but because it is responsive. Jewish wisdom teaches that the spark of creation lives in every soul. When you activate it through speech, you become a partner in forming your own reality. Miriam's life changed not because she hoped, but because she spoke. Now that you've seen how powerful this transformation can be, it is time to understand the philosophy that makes it possible, the ancient architecture of prosperity that explains why your words carry the weight of creation itself. When you witness a transformation like Miriam's, something inside you shifts. You begin to sense that her story is not an exception, it is a blueprint. A reflection of a principle older than kingdoms, older than languages, older than the very concept of wealth itself. Jewish wisdom teaches that words do not merely describe reality, they sculpt it. They carve pathways in the unseen long before the visible world rearranges itself. And once you understand this, you understand the true architecture of prosperity. At the heart of this philosophy is a foundational truth: speech creates worlds. This is not metaphorical. In the book of Genesis, creation begins not with a gesture or force, but with a voice. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. The rabbis insisted that this repetition, "God said and it was not poetic style, but instruction. They believed humans inherited this creative capacity in a smaller but no less potent form. When you speak, you echo the structure of creation. You bring form to what was previously formless. From this single truth, 3 pillars of prosperity unfold. The first pillar is creation. Your words are seeds. Every phrase you speak plants either growth or decay into the soil of your destiny. Thank God I'm growing plants expansion. I'm fine plants stagnation. I'm getting by plants limitation. What grows in your life is determined by what you plant with your tongue. The second pillar is choice. In Hebrew thought, Bachira, the power of choice, is sacred. You cannot choose your childhood, your past, or the world you were born into, but you can choose your words, and your words shape what comes next. When you choose speech that aligns with growth, the universe meets that choice with opportunity. When you choose speech that shrinks you, the universe contracts accordingly. Destiny is not accidental, it is conversational. The third pillar is alignment. Kabbalists teach that blessing flows only into vessels that match its frequency. This means your inner state, your spoken intention, and your external actions must point in the same direction. If your heart longs for abundance, but your words declare stagnation, you fracture the flow. But when you say, "Thank God I'm growing," your speech aligns with your desire, and your actions begin to follow naturally. The vessel opens, the current flows, the blessing arrives. This is why I ask you now to test these truths, not for a lifetime, not for a year, but for 7 days. For 7 days, refuse to say "I'm fine" or "I'm getting by." For 7 days, replace every neutral phrase with one of growth. For 7 days, speak the formula morning and night. Treat it as a spiritual experiment, a covenant between your voice and your future. And watch, quietly, attentively, what begins to shift. Your thoughts, your confidence, your perception, your responses, the opportunities you notice, the intuitions that sharpen, the synchronicities that appear out of nowhere. Because once you align your speech with growth, something remarkable happens. You begin to feel a force moving with you instead of against you. And now, as we approach the final chapter, it is time to seal everything you have learned with a blessing, one that has carried countless generations through darkness into possibility. As we arrive at this final moment, I want you to feel the weight of everything you've uncovered, the errors you've dissolved, the truths you've awakened, the spiritual mechanics you now understand. All of it leads to one simple realization: your destiny is not a fixed structure. It is a living conversation between your soul and the universe, shaped word by word, choice by choice, breath by breath. And now, after walking through each layer of wisdom, you stand with a power in your hands that many live an entire lifetime without discovering. The power to command wealth, attract miracles, and rewrite the direction of your life through the language you choose to embody. Let us gather it into one guiding thread. Never again say, "I'm fine." Never again say, "I'm getting by." Never again declare, "It's okay," when your soul is quietly aching for more. These phrases shrink you. They compress your potential.
They instruct the universe to place a ceiling where there was meant to be sky. Instead, anchor yourself in the one truth that aligns your heart with abundance. Thank God I'm growing. Let it become your daily rhythm, your internal compass, your spiritual signature.
Growth is not a destination. It is a state of being. And when you declare it, you step into the flow where miracles are not exceptions, they are natural outcomes. Now, I want to place something sacred in your hands. A blessing so ancient, so protective, so deeply woven into the DNA of Jewish tradition that it has carried entire generations through chaos into clarity, through darkness into dawn. Receive it as a seal over everything you have learned, a final embrace of divine alignment. May the Lord bless you and guard you. May the Lord shine his light upon you and show you grace. May the Lord lift his countenance toward you and grant you peace. Let these words wrap around your spirit like a shield. Let them settle into the spaces where fear once lived.
Let them remind you that you are not walking toward abundance alone. You are walking with blessing, with guidance, with the strength of every ancestor who ever spoke truth into their fate. And now I ask you for something that extends beyond yourself. Share this message with 3 people, not because the algorithm demands it, not because it helps this channel, but because you understand now the power of words to transform destinies. You have become a carrier of light, a bearer of wisdom, someone who can hand another soul the key they've been searching for. Share it with the friend on the edge of giving up. Share it with the relative stuck in survival. Share it with the colleague who hides their struggle behind polite smiles. You may never see the ripple you create, but the universe will. As you step beyond this chapter, remember, your life bends not to chance, but to intention. Not to luck, but to alignment. Walk with honesty. Grow without apology. And whisper again and again until it becomes the pulse of your existence. Thank God I'm growing.